What is structural inflation and its impact on costs? Have you ever wondered why prices seem to rise continuously, even when demand doesn't appear to be soaring? This is where structural inflation comes into play. Structural inflation is a specific type of inflation that stems from long-term imbalances within an economy. It is not just about demand exceeding supply or rising production costs. Instead, it relates to deeper issues like outdated technology, poor infrastructure, and inefficient supply chains. These structural problems often create ongoing supply constraints. For instance, if a country lacks modern roads or reliable transportation, moving goods becomes difficult. This inefficiency leads to higher costs for businesses, which then pass these costs onto consumers. As a result, the prices of everyday goods and services keep climbing. You will often see structural inflation in developing countries. Here, the economic and political systems may not support efficient production and distribution. Because these issues are deeply rooted, structural inflation tends to be persistent. Traditional monetary policies, like adjusting interest rates, may not effectively address these challenges. The impact of structural inflation on costs can be quite significant. Businesses face rising input costs, including raw materials and labor. For example, if a factory has to pay more for materials due to supply chain issues, those costs will likely be reflected in the prices consumers pay. This creates a cycle where the cost of living continues to rise, affecting everyone. Moreover, structural inflation can distort the economy. It can lead to uneven price increases across different sectors. This makes it harder for consumers to understand the true cost of living. Attempts to control structural inflation through measures like price controls may not work well. In fact, they can sometimes worsen the situation by creating shortages or discouraging investment. Addressing structural inflation requires long-term strategies. Improving infrastructure and adopting new technologies can help. Reforms in institutions can also play a key role in enhancing economic efficiency. Short-term fixes like currency stabilization may provide temporary relief but do not tackle the root causes. In essence, structural inflation reveals that inflation is not always a straightforward issue. It often arises from deeper economic challenges that affect how goods and services are produced and distributed. Understanding this can help us grasp why prices rise and what can be done to stabilize them over time.